자, 오늘도 뭐 특별한 뭐 새로운 소식 같은 것도 없고 해서 뭐 볼 거 있나 하고 보다가 없어서 오늘 하루는 뭐 영상 올릴 거 없나 하고 실려다 보니까 슈팅 레인지 매일 올라오는 거잖아요. 매주죠. 뭐 길기도 하고 사실 자세히 안 봤거든요. 그냥 뭐 있나 하고 봤는데 오늘 올라온 거는 별론데 지난주인가 올라온 거 보니까 링스하고 있는데 요게 내용이 좀 제법 볼만하더라고요. 다 볼 필요는 없고 이 중에서 좀 재밌는 부분만 몇 개만 한번 추려서 한번 봐봅시다.
The shooting range.
사격장. 여기에 링스 이야기도 있고 그 다음에 제트기 탑재 이야기도 좀 있더라고요. 하나 좀 봅시다.
We continue our introduction tour with the new vehicles of this fall. And
자, 이번
this
업데이트에
time
나온
we're
거죠.
happy to welcome a machine our players have long been waiting for.
자,
This
링스예요,
is one of
링스.
the most advanced
여러분,
IFVs
링스 하면
in the
뭔지
game at the
좀
current
귀에 익지
top of the
않습니까?
Hungarian ground branch.
이거
The
이번에
KF-41
호주에서
Lynx.
그 레드버그하고
Its main
마지막까지
caliber is a two-plane
대결했던 게
stabilized
링스
30mm autocannon with
이겁니다.
elevation angles
뭐
between
똑같진
-10
않겠지만요.
and +45
이 베이스겠죠.
degrees. It's enhanced with two machine guns and a missile launcher, equipped with Spike ATGMs.
네.
The driver sits in the front, next to the engine and transmission compartment, and two more crew members are in the turret. The vehicle also has 20
요즘은 또
smoke launchers
트렛이
and an
무인화가
anti-protection
추세더라고요.
system.
예.
If you know the German Puma IFV, you'll be familiar with the Lynx's main caliber as well.
아, 그리고
This gun's finned
그
rounds can boast a high
장갑차에서
penetration
드론
rate for
운영하는
its
것도
class,
또
being
기본이고
capable of damaging enemy
탱크도 이제
sides,
그렇게 해야 될 것
and
같아요.
even some vulnerabilities in the front.
근데 포타 무인이고
Depression
운전수
angles,
사수
good.
그다음 한 명 더
Aim
있는데 그
speed,
사람은 이제
great.
드론
Ammo
운영병이지.
pool, all
예.
good.
오퍼레이터라고
One
해야
thing
되나?
that leaves much
그럴
to
것
be
같아요 보니까 이제
desired,
미래의
though, is the
전장은.
rate of fire. Even if you perform a successful flanking attack, you might need to keep some
그러니까 사실 링스
distance in your
하면
sights for longer
또
than you
좀
want.
익숙하지 않은데 소리만 들어도 알겠죠. 이거
Besides
푸마
the
푸마
autocannon, though, this
독일
Hungarian
푸마의
IFV
미사일 단계 링스
has
아닙니까?
anti-tank
그죠?
missiles. And
푸마의
it's not
푸마.
just some missiles. These are the trendy spikes with fire and forget capability.
자,
You can't
발사후
use them in
망가.
close combat, but at long range, they're amazing. By the way, these ATGMs are also effective against enemy aircraft. They're unlikely to hit planes, since their flight performance isn't good enough for that, but they're very dangerous for helicopters. Just keep this in mind. With their long range, these missiles have a slow speed, so it might take a while. to
사거리는
hit the
길고
target.
속도는 느리다. 헬기 잡기 좋겠네, 그지?
The main highlight of the Lynx is the active
파이어
protection system.
포맷이니까 더 그러네.
Threat detectors and countermeasure shells are spread all over the hull.
뭐야 이거 뭐야?
The top Hungarian IFV is a unique machine. It has pretty much every system available in the game.
자,
If you
헝가리지만
like
이탈리아
dynamic
트리죠.
gameplay, this vehicle will bring you many
아,
enjoyable.
나중에 헝가리가 자체 트리로 만약에 분리되면 이탈리아 외롭겠다. 자, 서노바 아틸라 이야기죠. 뒤쪽에 있다. 이탈리아 해리아
The Sons
AV.
of Attila update
아,
has introduced a whole lot of
플러스.
small but exciting things to the game. With all the new vehicles and locations, they can be easy to miss. So let's talk about them now. Graphics would be our first stop. We've been working hard on
그쵸.
enhancing
이번에
realism
바람에
and
흩날리게
immersion.
바뀌었죠.
And this time we've reworked the trees.
나무가.
Trunks and branches now move and bend depending on wind speed. It looks extra impressive in stormy weather. Speaking of which, we've added new weathers to the game. Mist, low cloud cover, and thunderclouds.
아,
And also
구름은 좀
improved existing
치워줘. 아,
races.
구름 너무 힘들어. 구름.
Brightness and contrast now change
아,
automatically
이번에
depending on the time of
날씨하고
day.
저 바람
So
넣으면서
playing
구름
during dawn
넣네.
or
아.
sunset has become more comfortable. The main new visual for ground vehicles is the barrel heating. A long volley can
나
make a
기총
barrel turn
가야
red
되는 거.
hot and start smoking. There's also new effects for propellant gases exiting the gun barrels. You can now see how a bore evacuator works. It's that bulge on the barrels you've been asking about so often in the comments. Penetrating a fuel tank can now lead to a flaming puddle or two.
그렇죠.
If the tank
연료
can
세면
still
불
move,
타고
they
야,
can leave
저거
an
진짜
impressive
좀
fiery trail.
시린다. 솔직히 시린다. 무라에 들으면 끄지나.
All external ammo on vehicles like smoke grenades on
그쵸.
tanks or
외부
bombs
장비
on
터지는
aircraft
거.
hardpoints are now destructible.
파괴되는
Depending
거.
on the impact, they
그러니까
may be
비행기
lost,
타다가
ignited,
기총으로
or
폭탄 터지는 거
exploded.
본 적은 없는 것
A
같아요.
damaged
그럴
smoke
일은 너무
grenade can
없어.
cover a tank in their own aerosol veil.
그런
While
적은
hitting an enemy
없었던 것
bomb
같아요.
before it's dropped can lead to much
혹시
more
그렇게 해본 적
grievous
있으신 분
consequences.
나중에 이야기 좀 해주세요. 아씨.
Fourth other pilots might like the new warning systems, Betty and Rita. They'll tell you about critical
자, 그쵸.
G-loads and
베티.
angles of attack.
배티 없는 사람들 배티 좀 넣어주세요 이러더라고요. 여러분 걱정 마세요. 그쵸, 연료 작은 것도. 에어브레이크, 연료, 미사일 다 체크해줘. 아, 너무 좋더라.
You can adjust the volume of this system in the settings,
볼륨
or
조절할
turn
수
it
있고,
off for third
끄는
person
것도 된다.
and leave it just for the
그러니까
cockpit.
배티가 적용 안 된 기체는 이제 실제 있는데 적용 안 된 거는 나중 되면 다 적용시켜 줄 겁니다.
New
걱정
custom
마세요.
loadouts are here as well.
사출 장치도
Besides the
그랬고
freshly added
무기
vehicles,
커스텀도
44
그랬거든요.
existing aircraft got the new
걱정
mechanic
마세요.
enabled as well. Most of them being World War II prop planes. Some planes and helicopters also received
새로운
new
탄약이
ordnance. The
추가됐습니다.
A2D,
예.
for instance, got a 4,000
아,
pound
맞아
bomb.
맞아. 폭탄도
Many
추가됐어.
American
폭탄도.
jets got the Mark 84 air parachute bomb. The
고학력
Su-25T and the
폭탄이죠, 고학력
Su-39 got the R-73 missiles, and the Yak-141 got the
자, 어리 7
R-27
ET도
ET
받았죠.
missile.
141이.
Our artists have created ejection animations for all
아,
Harriers
해리어도
and
사출
F-5s,
자석
making the
생겼고.
bailout a more
그치,
enjoyable
저렇게
moment.
구현이 됩니다. 똥파도 구현했어 이제.
And
이 똥파
lastly,
구현.
there's the new mechanics we'd like to tell you about. Many of you must be familiar with a situation where you and your enemy fire at the same time.
아,
but
서로
your round
쐈을
isn't
때,
seen by the server and looks like it goes through the enemy.
탄
with no
실종
damage.
있잖아. 내가
Now
먼저
this
쏜
is
것
now a
같은데.
thing of the
예.
past. If the time gap between firing and receiving critical damage is small, the server will now consider that the attacked player pulled the trigger anyways. In arcade ground mode, your request to start an air battle
아무튼
using
뭐
your
저거를 좀
fighters or
수정했답니다.
helicopters
같이
will be
쐈는데
denied if no enemy
핑이 좀
joins the air battle. You
떨어져서
won't lose any spawn points
죽는 경우
if this
있잖아요.
happens.
내 탄은 아예 사라져
And
버리고.
finally, here's the most wholesome in-game mechanic.
그거 좀
You can now accept
개선됐답니다.
apologies from your allies if they shoot down your vehicle by accident and ask forgiveness on the radio.
사과
If you
기능도
accept the
있고.
apology, your allies will see your mercy in the chat, and the accidental offender won't be kicked out of the battle for team killing.
아, 저거 뱀도색 벨로라
We'll
생했는데
dedicate
생각보다
separate
괜찮네.
sections to some of the largest changes later.
살까
Meanwhile,
바꿨는데.
it's time for us to answer some of your questions from the comments. Another question comes from Sabrina Dobe. Do you have any tips for playing the M1A1 AIM and the A10 in ground RB? Hi, Sabrina. The Abrams is a very balanced machine that's good for active gameplay in the first line. The A10 depends on the battle rating it's used in. It might not feel great in the same lineup with the M1A1 AIM due to its modest flight performance. On its own BR, though, the Thunderbolt
A10
2
사실
can be
지상전에서
pretty
쓰기
amazing
쉽지
thanks to
않습니다.
its guided air-to-surface
느려서
missiles. A
틀리기
lonely
쉬워요.
Corsair writes, is the AIM-7E2 better than the AIM-7F?
그쵸.
or the other
독파가
way around?
F보다 좋냐? 어느 게 좋냐?
Hello, lonely Corsair. We're always here for you. And we can give you a straightforward answer here.
그치.
The AIM-7F is better than its predecessors in just
그쵸.
about every.
F가 다 더 좋지. 예,
And we have two
그치.
questions about top jets here. Lost
중요한
Affinity is
질문이었네요.
asking what plane has the best acceleration. While Captain Frostbite wants to know which plane is the
누가 제일
fastest at
빠르냐?
the moment.
지금 F16C
Hey there,
아니야?
guys. To compare acceleration, we first need to define the speed range we want to test these planes in. Let's
최대
pick the
속도.
0 to Mach 1 range. In this case, the best acceleration is found on the Yak-141.
초반 가속은
Mach 1 in
좋지만
around 29 seconds.
계속
The
날
fastest
때는 안
planes in the
빠르지.
game are still the early modifications of the MiG-29. They can exceed 1,500 kilometers an hour near the ground.
그렇지.
That's it for today. You've been watching the shooting range by
그러니까
Gaijin
지금
Entertainment.
해면고도
And the
이야기인가요?
next episode will
해면고도에서는
premiere the following Sunday
맹구가
at 4
제일
p.m.
빠르고
GMT
초기
or
맹구가.
noon Eastern time.
근데 지금은
Subscribe
C형일
and
것
click the
같은데
bell
내
if you don't
생각에.
want to miss our
예.
next videos.
출력도
Don't
제일
forget
좋고.
to smash that Gramercy button for your allies.
뭐 재미난
Leave a
질문이었네요.
like, share your thoughts and comments, and see you next week.
아, 요거 괜찮네요. 괜찮은 영상 있으면 몇 개만 추려서 이제 제가 영상 만들게요. 요거는 괜찮았다. 좋았어. 하여튼 재밌게 보셨나요?